Are you ready to get the hydrofacial glow? Loved in 87 countries across the world. It's not a facial, it's a hydrofacial. Now available across the UK. Visit hydrofacial.co.uk to find your nearest location.
Yeah, my mother instilled such huge confidence in me. When she came to see my first stage play, she fainted in the foyer.
No.
Because she couldn't believe that anybody was going to turn up to see it, and she was shocked there were people there.
Hi.
Hi. Happy Tuesday.
Are you
Oh,
chilly?
yeah,
Debbie?
I must tell you, my eye has recovered, by the way. I no longer have to wear the shades, which is very sad, really, because I was enjoying that look.
Oh, actually, because we were at an event, all of us actually were at an event on Saturday night. Why was Lulu wearing sunglasses?
Yes, maybe she had an eye infection.
What do you think, Harriet?
I have no idea, but I have to say the amazing event, which was Children with Cancer charity, was sensational, wasn't it? Well, you both got the most amazing things for the auction. Debbie, can I say the word diamond? Not talking about you, Ovs, but you got an amazing diamond for the auction. And Dee, a fantastic time at where, darling? The
I was
usual.
studio.
There you go.
Talking about Thunderbirds, growing up with Thunderbirds, which I do anyway, at corporate dues and stuff. And lunch with me, darling. And then a Lady Penelope message on their answer phone.
So fantastic. It was the most moving, beautiful night. I'm so lucky to be there to support that amazing and important charity.
It was lovely. It's had so many sort of been in so many different sort of. It started off as the Paul O'Gorman Foundation. Then it started. Then it was children with leukemia. Then it was children with, it's gone through lots and lots of different names and connotations, and lots of us were ambassadors at the beginning, and it's always been an incredible ball. And as it hasn't been going, I think there was one last year. I didn't go to last year's, but obviously didn't have any for the 3 years that we were in lockdown. It was just lovely to see everybody again. And of course there was little Harriet and little Dee. It was all of us like, hello, the girls were there, which was lovely. And the Holby City were there, and Casualty were there, and Michelle Collins, and Leslie and Alma Khan, and I mean, it was what an evening.
Yeah, everyone.
Fabulous.
We were all there, dear. And it was,
And
again, it was so beautiful and moving.
Yes, it was absolutely lovely.
And
Actually, I do think we should give a big thank you to Compare Diamonds.
CompareTheDiamonds.com.
She could edit this in when we talk about it, actually.
Yeah,
because they gave
CompareTheDiamond.com.
Yeah, because you actually got that donation, didn't you, Debbie?
I didn't know why you didn't put a fake one in and keep the diamond, darling, and share it amongst us. I'm not sure
Because,
why.
darling, they obviously knew I would do that, and so they didn't give it to me. So, obviously. Now, listen, our guest.
Yes.
Our guest is someone that Harriet is connected to. Well, she'll tell you how. And Dee, I don't know, might be in the past, you might have even done one of his plays, but it is the sensational playwright, Mr. Richard Harris. Hello,
Welcome.
Richard.
Hey, Richard.
Hi.
Hello.
Hello. The three girls are here to say hi to you. Welcome to our nest. Welcome to Wonderbirds. Now, Richard, you have got a wonderful new play starting at the theatre at the Tabard.
Correct.
Can you tell us all about it?
Yeah, well, it's not a new play. It was done some time ago with Roger Lloyd Pack and Martin Freeman. It's a two-hander. And Simon Riley, who runs the theatre at the Tabard, asked me if I had a play, because I'm local. I live just down the road. That means I'm cheap to travel, and because it was a two-hander, and because, like most fringe theatres, they've got a very tight budget, it was right up his Strasser. And so here we go. And it started previewing last week, and it opens to the press on Wednesday. And it runs until December the 3rd.
Wow, who's in it?
Wonderful.
Who's in it? Yes. Well, as I say, there are two actors, which is David Tarkenter and Matt Wake. They're not names I imagine that would spring immediately to mind, but I tell you, they're bloody good.
Oh, that's
Great.
brilliant. I mean, when Martin did it and Roger, how long ago was that?
Christ, it was about 12 years. 12
Yeah.
years ago. It's I don't know whether you know, it's actually a translation of a Japanese play, a Japanese comedy, if you grab hold of that, and written by a very famous and successful Japanese writer director called Koki Mitani, and Bill Kenwright somehow got hold of it and asked me to adapt it, and so I did. So it's my adaptation of Mr. Mitani's play, and I know he was very pleased with it because he said so in his program, and he must be pleased because writers don't usually say they're pleased when somebody else puts their hands on their work.
Exactly.
So true. So
Yeah.
true. Oh, that's so exciting. I just want to say I'm so honoured and thrilled to meet you, and also disappointed because I was supposed to be doing a tour of Stepping Out, although I was playing the oldest lady who can't dance, even though I'm not that old and can still do the splits because I trained at the Royal Ballet School, but we'll let that go. I was so disappointed because I was so excited. It's such an amazing play. How did you come to write it in the first place?
Well, my then wife, she sadly died, was an actress, and it started life as a dancer, a ballet dancer, and she went to the local dance class in the local church hall just to keep her foot in, as you know, and and came back to me and said, "I think there's a play here." She was doing modern dance.
Yeah.
I went along to the church hall and looked through the window, and there was this bunch of ladies tap dancing, thumping around, including an Indian lady in a sari with a red tap shoes with white ribbons.
Wonderful.
An old lady with a scowl on her face, thumping out of tune piano.
That's yeah.
They were all having such a terrific time, and I thought, Christ, if I can capture the pleasure these ladies are getting out of this, I might have a play. So I went around and researched with various classes all over London, and wrote the play, and it was just terrific. I mean, the very lucky thing is, as we all know, luck plays such a big part in our profession. That it happened to be a tap dance class that I looked through the window.
Perfect.
You know, because tap, no matter how not very good you are, it makes such a nice, happy sound. You know that
it absolutely does. And it wasn't only a play; it also became a musical with Liza Minnelli and Julie Walters. So it became a movie. So it was amazing.
Yes. Yeah.
Excellent. Richard.
The movie, but that's another story.
Oh no.
Okay. We'll let that go. Let that go for the moment.
We'll let that go, yeah. Richard, where did this all begin for you? When did you know that you were going to be a writer? How was it?
I didn't. It all began with when I fell in love with an actress. Or not, she wasn't an actress then. She was at school. I was doing my national service. I was 18, she was 16. I'd never met an actor. I'm a very working class thug. So the King Edward or whatever it was doesn't really apply to me. And I never knew, I mean, actresses were, I only went to the cinema. That was my culture. I never been to the theatre really, except for Panto. And I met this girl, fell madly in love. Anyway, cut a long story short, she became an actress, joined Rep, and went along, and I met all these actors with their foulard neck pieces, said hello, darling, and all the rest of it. And
Nothing's changed.
The lovies, yes.
I, hated them, and I thought to impress her, I would write a play. Yeah, it's good.
Love it.
I had a terrific advantage because when I was in the Air Force, I failed air crew, and they offered me 2 trades, either fireman or typist. Because I'm a coward, I didn't, I chose typist. And, I mean, what luck was there, So I meet an actress, I learned to type, I'm equipped, aren't I? I'm the Shakespeare of tomorrow. And so I wrote a play. I wrote a television play about my lovable working class family.
Oh,
And
what was it called?
What was it called? It was called The Christmas Card. And it starred Joan Hickson. Anyway, I sent it off to the, I saw something, I saw a play on television about lovable working class people, directed by a man called Peter Draper. And I knew from my then wife that directors were important people. So I sent it to him, and he sent it to HM Tenants, and they bought it.
Wow.
First thing I ever wrote. And that was it. And then somebody saw it. It was a television play. It was seen by a man called Ted Willis, the famous Ted Willis, who wrote Dixon of Dock Green and all. He was the first of the kitchen sink English writers. And he phoned me the morning after the play went out and said, "Hello, my name's Ted Willis. I'd like you to write a play for me." And I was working in a factory at the time, so I went along to this meeting with all these people whose names I'd seen on television and wrote a play. And that starred Ian Hendry.
Wow.
It was probably our first proper screen actor. He had all the makers. Then he was offered a series that I think called Police Surgeon, and because he liked my script, he asked if I could write some of those, which I did. And Police Surgeon became the Avengers, and I then wrote the Avengers. So from not having a faintest bloody idea what and I became a writer, and I was employed. I've been employed ever since.
Oh,
so what can I say? It's
well, we've got a challenge. Will you please write us a play? We need the bloody work, Richard.
Oh
yes, please.
No, I've given up now.
From this moment.
I'm an old man now, so I've given up. Yeah. So there you are. I mean, I'm a very lucky boy. Wouldn't happen now, because everybody's at it, and there are degrees in Coronation Street. So
Yes.
It's a different world. I was very, very lucky. This was in 1959. My first play was done in 1959, and I was writing scripts until last year.
But Richard, you're lucky but talented, because without the talent, you wouldn't have been discovered.
No, well, that's very nice. Yeah, I guess that must be true. Yeah, to some extent.
Yeah.
But no, I wouldn't say I'm Chekhov, but I was doing okay. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Is there something that inspires you next? Is there an idea for another play?
Now,
obviously.
No. Oh, I've got a book full of ideas, but I don't want. I'm past it now. I don't want to do it. It's a different world.
Yeah.
I certainly got television at its best, before it became committee television, and you did this and you did that. And I mean, I can remember I had an idea called Man in a Suitcase for a TV series, and I took it to Lou Grade on half a sheet of paper. And he sat there behind his big cigar and he said, "I'll do it."
Wow.
I'm 13, and they did, I don't know, 39 episodes just because Lou Grade said, "I'll do it."
And it was a different time when people allowed creativity and things to develop, as opposed to if you don't get ratings, the show disappears.
Oh,
so it was a different era.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I got the golden days of television just after, just after it really, when commercial television started. And there was this whole tranche of drama, and a lot of working class drama, which gave room for uneducated thugs like me, to say, Mum says, can I have another cup of sugar? And stuff like that, immortal dialogue like that. Anyway, that's it. And
have you written a story of your life in a
yes, I did. Only because I was very ill. I had cancer, and years ago, and somebody said, and I could, I was in a bad state, and couldn't really do much but stare out the window, and someone said to me, why don't you write down your story? So when I got a bit stronger, I started to write, and I was quite enjoying it. And I wrote my up to then story of how I got into it. I called it Me and My Fancy Friends, because my mother, was a neurotic, terrified woman with huge sense of inadequacy. And she used to say to me, don't you bring your fancy friends home here. So, I know, but it left me with quite a heavy load, I tell you. So I thought Me and My Fancy Friends. Anyway, I punted it, and nobody was interested. I think there are quite a few such stories to tell, and I don't think I rank highly enough to be all that interesting,
I beg to differ.
You are.
I beg to differ.
Well, it was nice for me because I could say things about people in it that I really wanted to say to them, and
at the time.
yeah, and and did it, and so it got the dirty water off my chest, if nothing else. But anyway, that was my brief sojourn into writing, proper writing, as my mum would say. Only my boy was a proper writer.
Oh,
yeah, my mother instilled such huge confidence in me. When she came to see my first stage play, she fainted in the foyer.
No.
Because she couldn't believe that anybody was going to turn up to see it, and she was shocked there were people there. And that instilled in me a tremendous confidence, as you can imagine.
Oh, she was probably overexcited, Richard.
Well, it might be that, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, well, listen, thank you so much for coming to see us. And we will be going to the theatre at the Tabard.
Oh,
yes.
Yeah, I think it's a fun piece. They do it very, very well. And I do think these theatres like the Tabard need support and should get support, because it is the root of our profession, isn't it, really? And it's a lovely little theatre. And well, if you do come, maybe you'll let me know, and
we will
have a drink. Yeah.
Most definitely.
Thank you so much for coming, Richard.
We'll put a
link to the theatre everywhere on our social media, so hopefully lots of people will come and see it.
Well, that's very nice of you. Thank you very much. Nice to meet you. Sorry, we never talk more about stepping out the tour, but it's I was surprised as you were. Believe me.
I know. Yeah.
We'll get you back, Richard, and we'll have some more. I'd love to hear more about your early life.
Oh,
please.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
What a wonderful man, and I'm so honoured to have met him, because I would have had we done the tour. So it's really, I'm so grateful. Thanks for bringing him in.
Oh,
absolutely. He was lovely, wasn't he?
So funny. So funny.
But how interesting. I think the thing is that our business was so different, wasn't it? I mean, so different to how it is now.
Yeah.
It is such a shame, because it kind of almost changed overnight without us really noticing.
I remember doing plays for Today, and you'd have a read through, even if you had a tiny part. My first part was tiny, and then the second was much bigger. But the first one, you all sat around a table, however small the part was, even if you had 2 lines, and you'd be with them all the time. But now you just dial it in, don't you, really? It's weird. It's all very different.
It is. It's sad. But anyway, we move on. We digress. We wouldn't be
We
here
do.
actually if things hadn't moved on. Who would have thought we could have
Exactly.
spoken to each
And
other?
actually, it's always moving on. It has done ever since it was just people, theatrical groups walking around the country or getting into
That's right.
carriages and going
Yeah.
elsewhere to play. So it's part of life. And as you say, Debbie, so rightly, we wouldn't be here without Zoom. So we're very lucky.
Very grateful. Yes.
Anyway, everyone, we will see you on Friday.
Yeah,
we will.
see you then.
Bye.
Take care. Bye.